Good evening, guys, and welcome to the preview show. Even though it says the Big Sunday show on the top, but it's not Sunday today, guys. It's Monday. Just thought I'd make that clear. Hi, Mark. Hi, Richard. How you guys
Hi.
doing?
Good.
Yes, good, thank you. Good,
happy,
good.
yeah, happy that we're back on Premier League. Yes. Woohoo! Thank God for that. It's been so boring. I mean, we had the FA Cup, but that's not the same thing, is it really? So, oh, who's that?
Sorry, I have a special guest in the house tonight. So.
Well, let's meet the special guest then.
Jack, do you want to come and say hello?
Hello.
No, come up and say hello. Come up and say hello. So don't be shy.
Hi.
Yeah.
Aww. Hi, Jack.
This is Seema. That's Seema. And that's Richard. They're Dad's podcast friends. Do you want to show them your Arsenal top? Look. Show it for a second.
Oh, very nice.
Cool.
And who have you got on the back?
Do you want to turn around and show you on the back?
Oh, Jack. Well, very
Jack
good.
and six.
Well,
6.
Yeah, got Gabriel
So cool.
on the away kit.
Yeah.
So, slightly shy.
well, that's good.
Have you got a question?
Why is it red?
Why is it red? Have you got a question?
Why do you look red?
Why do I look red? It's the light. It's the light. Have you got a question? No. Okay.
Okay.
But that's
okay.
Richard. That's Dad's friend, and that's Seema. That's Dad's friend.
Actually, I do have a question.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Good then. He's cheeky.
Okay. Right. Well, if you're here to talk football, Jack, let's do this, okay? I just want to pick up on the fact that let's start with the ladies, okay? Stop it, okay? Jack, I see that smile. I
I forgot the question.
Oh, that's all right then. Yeah, just keep it forgotten.
Seema, what do you know about men's toilets?
I don't. We're talking about the women's football here, okay?
Right, you want to go put your iPad and Dad?
Thierry Henry hangs out in them. That's what I do know. All right. So anyway, let's talk about the brilliant Arsenal women, yeah, and their game against Palace, right? Just a couple of days yesterday, actually, and they won 4-0. Brilliant. I mean, they seem to be scoring goals galore, aren't they? The Champions League, they did the first thing in history for the women. And, from any team actually in the Champions history to come back from a 2-0 down. And then, they just, they dominated the game yesterday, didn't they?
Yes.
Did you actually watch it?
Yeah, I watched most of it. I missed the last 15 minutes. Due to being Mother's Day and commitments, but I watched three quarters of it up to about 75 minutes, and it was good. I think Mead's goal was probably the pick of the bunch, but it was a good game. We played with good intensity and. We took our chances. What even better was when Chelsea went and dropped points.
Yeah.
Later in the
That's
side.
correct. Yeah. I mean, Russo seems to be on a streak, right?
Yeah. What's that? 18 goals in all comps now.
Well, including if we go back and take the 2 disallowed goals, that's 6 goals in 2 games.
Disallowed one. Yeah.
Do you know what's crazy about that though? Under the previous manager, she'd always scored 1 or 2.
Yeah.
They changed the manager and Russo's just went on a madness.
Yeah.
Yeah. The problem with Jonas was that back towards the end of last season, he started to tinker with the team, and whether it was he didn't know what his best 11 was, or if he just thought that was his best 11 against that opposition, and he was getting it wrong against certain types of opposition, and it became baffling. And I'd said at the end of last season that he should go, but it took him another 6 games, and I think those 6 games cost us.
See, the problem that I'm going to have at the end of the season, because like Chelsea have dropped points, they've not lost a game obviously, but they've drew 2 out of the last 4, so maybe they're starting to feel a lot bit of pressure, but they'll run out of games. They're 6 points behind with 4 games to go.
Yeah.
But see, two factors that you could raise on the women's game, and unfortunately I don't watch enough of it, but I would like to, certainly would like to. And one is when Arsenal played Chelsea won 1-0 through a dodgy penalty. And if you take that away from them, that's another 2 points, and it's down to 4. And the second point is if we had a maybe swap manager sooner.
Yeah.
And that is going to be a frustrating factor come the end of the season, because it's unlikely. I don't know, is it only 4 games to go for the women?
Yeah, 4 games and 2 Champions League, obviously, coming away and then whatever. But didn't it feel like to you, Richard, or I mean, even to you, Mark, it was like Jonas was panicking and he was trying to do anything possible, but it just all backfired?
Yeah. Yeah, his decisions were baffling towards the end of last year. Yeah, and especially this year. You look at what the team he put out against sort of Liverpool's, and it was a wrong makeup in the team, and whether it's he didn't know or whether he was just trying to be too clever. And it backfired. I don't know, but at that point, I'd said, "Yeah, you've got to go," because it was obvious that.
Yeah.
Richard, say for me, when you see a transformation of the same team and the same set of players, where they go from one extreme to the next extreme, that tells me that he lost the dressing room.
Oh yeah, that was
very possible.
That was so obvious. But that was obvious, Richard. You could see that the players on the pitch, there was that argument. You could see it going on, and how he was just having to go at the girls, which was so wrong. But I mean, that was obvious, and now you can see that they're all one team. They're all connected. They're all on the same page. So,
and what you've got to say is with Renee Slagers is that she is. Currently got the highest win percentage of any of the managers before her. So that tells you something about her ability as a manager.
One of the things I read from yesterday's game was that Chloe Kelly was causing havoc.
They need to try and keep her. I know.
Yeah, I know.
I know Richard Richard will say the stats on this, but I think that she's determined to get to Manchester for her family, so she wants to stay with Manchester United. But if the girls could go on and win the Champions League, maybe it could be a game changer. I don't know, but maybe that could be a game changer. But she, against Real Madrid, wow. See if our men were putting in crosses the way that she was putting them in. Wow. Honestly, I thought she was outstanding. And Russo got player of the match, and quite rightly so. She took her goals, and she had two chopped off against Real Madrid. But Kelly was absolutely outstanding. Yeah. Absolutely outstanding. She really took that game by the scruff of the neck and said, Arsenal, we're going through. So I just felt she was phenomenal, Sina, really phenomenal. And do you know what? It was a breath of fresh air to watch that kind of football as well.
Yeah.
It really was. I know that we'll go into the men's, but sometimes with the men's, we're too tippy-tappy and we're trying to score the perfect goal. And with the women, it's just a lot more direct. And it's joyful to watch. It really is joyful to watch.
Yeah. I mean, I love Chloe Kelly anyway, even when she plays for England, because you can see her transition is so great, because she's the same player, no matter when she was playing with Everton or Man City or Arsenal, she just plays so well in the England team too that, yeah, I'm just blown away with her performance.
Yeah. Hopefully we could get her on a permanent contract.
Yeah, I'm actually going to go to the Champions League game at home, so that's quite exciting to do that.
That'd be a good one.
Yeah, that would be really good. And Leon are going to give a fight for sure.
Yeah. They're decent, but
Yeah,
you know what?
They're decent.
Do you know what? I know that there was a record attendance for the Champions League game of just over 20,000. I actually think that's pathetic by the Arsenal fans, if I'm being perfectly honest.
22,300 something, I think it was.
Do you know, we're now going in a semi-final of the Champions League in the women's game, and if we could sell out the Emirates for the women's game against Tottenham, let's go and do that for Leon. Let's get behind these girls. Let's pack that stadium to the rafters. These girls could go on and win this competition. They can't.
Yeah.
They're capable of going on and win the Champions League. So if I was in London, or nearby London, I would certainly get the ticket.
And the tickets are so cheap. So anybody in the chat or listening or whatever, just get those tickets. You can take your kids with you, £10 a ticket. So
fantastic.
Some of them are a bit more if you want to sit in the posh level, the club level. They're about 40-ish, I think. So
just
for the Champions League.
You put that in perspective. I paid 146 quid for a dead ringer game against PSV because we were already through to go down and watch. So for a tenner.
And if you want to join the army as well, they start their little chanting by the arches and with the flares and they're dancing. It's amazing. Oh, sorry, excuse me, guys. Phone was ringing, so I didn't turn it on silent, but I have now. So sorry about that, my son.
It's impressive sight as you down and watch them come through, and it is a better experience if you've got young kids to take, and you'll find most of the opposition supporters, especially in the Champions League, are really to take photos and chat and mingle. Pre-match.
I would say the same for the men's as well, though. I think it's exactly the same. I met a couple of Champions League games I've been to. We met the away supporters and were fantastic. So there is a lot that goes on, but I think there's a lot better harmony around the women's game. And I actually listened to something on the radio, Seaman. Sorry, I know you're hosting.
No, carry on. No.
I don't want to take it totally off track, but there was a couple of people interviewed, and they were talking about sexuality and stuff, their sexuality, and some of them felt really uncomfortable going to the men's games. And I'm not saying Arsenal. This is not just Arsenal. This is across the wide spectrum of English football, and they spoke about going to the women's game and the difference of acceptance, etc. That is there, and it is very family orientated as well. But it's also there's great atmospheres. I've watched women's game for Arsenal, and the atmosphere's been incredible. So the guys, if you are close by, it seems like a tenner to go and watch a semi-final or Champions League. Come on, and the football.
My friend, she actually has a season ticket, so she's got the 8 or 10 games. She pays £100 season ticket.
It's all it is.
If you get early bird access, it's like all the Emirates games for about 105, 115 pounds, depending where you want to sit. You can go higher if you want club level, but it is well worth it, and it is such an experience.
The thing is, you could go to a cinema, pay a tenner for a ticket for the cinema. You're getting more entertainment out of these girls.
Mark, I don't know what cinema you go to. It's about 17 quid over here.
Is that?
Yeah.
So there you go. Even half
it's because they give you the reclining chairs, and you can sleep, and you can just lay back.
They charge you extra for reclining.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Just because it just reclines. But no, I want to pick your brains, Richard. So with Chloe Kelly, do you know anything about her contract? Is it just a loan deal? Is there a little clause in there?
There is no buy option in there. It's just a loan. She really wanted to go to United because her family's in Manchester, and she didn't relocate. She wanted to be close with her family, and it might be an option. And we win the Champions League or get to the Champions League final. It's definitely a very persuasive argument, isn't it? To say you've got chances of winning silverware, and even though family is highly important, will she turn down chances of silverware and being a hero? She was an academy player with us, so we might just be able to pull on some of those heartstrings.
But Richard, just to expand on the contract, she is actually out of contract.
Yes, she is. She's a free agent.
So just a loan.
Yeah.
So she could actually sign a pre-contract right now for Arsenal.
Yeah, and I think that will be down to Berta as well, because Edu had taken all those roles on. He was doing the women's and the men's. So I assume that Berta will have that same role for transfers for the women and the men.
Yeah.
I mean, the only one that quite thing with it that is still quite baffling is this is Rosie Kapaji. That we bought her, and we've hardly seen her.
Yeah.
In an Arsenal shirt. She doesn't seem to be fancied by.
Hi, Daniel. Sorry, carry on.
Yeah, she doesn't seem to be fancied by. She wasn't fancied by Jonas, and she hasn't seemed to be fancied by Renée Schlegers. Is it something she's doing on the training pitch, or is it?
Yeah.
Is it just that she doesn't fit in with the style of game they want to play?
Yeah, I see that. But I mean, you can have your 2 minutes of say, Daniel. We're talking about actually the women, and how well they did this week. Yesterday they beat Palace 4-0. We're 6 points behind Chelsea, and I was saying that I love Chloe Kelly but her contract, and we've been having like these discussions, haven't we, with little contracts and the new sporting director getting in there. What's your take on the new sporting director?
First of all, good evening, everyone, and good evening, viewers. Sorry for the lateness. Does the sporting director still in charge of the women's team? I thought it was just for the men's.
No, men's, women, and even the academy.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
So for the sporting director, I think it's a good appointment. It's one I think the club at this point in time needed because of the direction we should be facing, because we've been probably up there but not over the line. And director like the one we just had, with a track record of what he has done for Atletico Madrid and also his personal life, I think it's good for us. It's good for Mikel Arteta, because if you really look at it, Mikel Arteta hasn't really got any sporting director to work under. I won't classify Edu as one, although he was doing a good job. But in my books, I really do not see Edu as a sporting director that can challenge Mikel Arteta to his decisions and what he ought to do, and doing it the right way. So in aspect of Chloe, I think she's playing for the contract, and she feels like she's home. But in other words, do not get too attached to loan players, because at the end of the day, they may end up fucking you up. And whatever happens with her, I will not be against it. If the club decides to sign her permanently, I will not be against it. If the club decides to, at the end of the season, say she go back to Manchester City, I wouldn't be against that. So
she can't. She's out of contract, man.
She's out of contract.
She's out of contract and she hates Man City.
So she'll be a free agent player at the end of the year.
She is right now.
Oh, then definitely the club should sign her out, because being a free agent, the club's not going to lay out any huge sum of money to Manchester City for transfer fees. So it would be a good idea to sign her permanently, because if you look at the way she's been playing since she came back to Arsenal, it felt like someone, the prodigal child who went out and found her way back home to the Arsenal. And I think she has a good chemistry with a lot of players there, because of the England link up they have had, and the players really like. And I like the coach is really trusting her so much, even in the big games, to start over Betmead. So it's something I wouldn't be against if the club decide not to sign up permanently.
I'd love for it to happen, but can I just say, because I'm being over nice tonight and I don't want to be over nice, Chloe, could you go into the men's changing room and speak to Raheem and say, this is what you fucking do when you're on loan?
You can.
I had to get that. I had to get it.
Look, I'm the host, right? So if you don't mind, Mark, zip it.
Best behaviour rest of the night.
Yeah. Okay, right. So let's move on.
In fairness, Mark is right. Because you can be, you can. When Arsenal signed Real Sterling, I was one of those that was happy about the signing. I came on the stream and said, "There's a good move." I even tweeted on my WhatsApp status, taunting the Chelsea fans and all fans from other clubs, saying, "We've got Real Sterling. This is what we're going to do. This is what da da da." At the end of the day, it flopped. So Mike is right. Somebody should go to the dressing room and tell Real Sterling that you can't be collecting 100K every week and you put up shit performance back to back with chances given, where the likes of Ethan Waneri, who are on meager salary, are doing bits for us. So probably we're gonna send Mark to go do that job.
No, I agree with that. It's just that, hello, I cannot go into the men's toilets.
So you want to go into a men's dressing room?
It's a carry on reason, though.
You've done, you said you've done it before, so it's not something new.
I'm never going to live it down. Okay, so let's move on. So we all watched Mikel Arteta's news conference this morning. He kind of confirmed things that were already rumoured out, which is Saka's back! And he could be ready for Fulham too. And I know Daniel really wants to talk about this because he had his own conspiracy theory. So Daniel, the floor's yours. Where's he gone?
He's run away.
After all that, Daniel, thanks a lot. I gave you a great introduction as well. And you just lost it. Okay. What happened there? Did you even hear what I said?
No. There's something cooking on the stove, so I just got. So before I cook online, before I get cooking online, I gotta cook something for the stomach too. So you know how it goes.
Did you hear the question?
Yeah, I think I did.
Okay, so the floor's yours. Talk away. Give us your conspiracy. Tell us what you think about Saka.
There's no conspiracy. It's just about what I've been saying all week. Bukayo Saka has been back for ages, because if you look at the pictures and the way Arsenal announced its comeback, normally players do not announce their comeback after injury. It all downs to the club to do that. And I feel for Bukayo Saka to do that, it shows the level of readiness the player is. It shows the level of fitness the player is, because I've never seen that before when it comes to Arsenal. So probably Mikel was trying to save him from the England selection, which I said in the last pod that the level of fitness of Bukayo Saka is going to tell against Fulham. If he starts, then I was right. He has been back for ages. If he's on the bench, then probably there's a 50-50 chance he's fit, but they are taking precaution. But if it's not on the bench, then it's not yet fit. And I'll be surprised to see him against Real Madrid in the first leg. So with what Mikel said today, it just proved me right. And I think Max should be sending me some BTC for being right on that and predicting it so rightly.
See, well, Daniel, see the thing for me, see to come back from an injury like Saka's done, unless Arsenal have been extremely clever and got minutes in his legs, I don't see how. I've seen the pictures, so I never saw Mikel Arteta's press conference today because I was driving.
Well, I mean, let me just tell you there, what Mikel did say was they actually had to hold Saka back because he was raring to go weeks ago.
Right.
And they've had to do the smooth, transition. So what do you think?
They stuck to the timeline.
Yeah, that's good, but there's a difference. There's a difference between being ready to come back and being match fit, and that is where. So unless Arsenal have been able to secure a couple of how do you say that again?
Behind doors,
closed doors,
closed doors
games that we don't know about. We don't know if Saka's had 1 minute of football inside his legs.
Apparently, there was that rumor that there was a match that was played behind closed doors to give him that, and the fact Arteta also mentioned that he was having him play on the grass to bring that that stability in his game again. So they've taken all those cautions. They've been very, very good about it, and I'm really actually happy that they've done that.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you think, Richard?
Yeah, I mean, he's been ready for ages. He's usually a very quick recoverer from injuries, so that doesn't surprise me. What will be interesting will be Tuesday. I mean, if Arteta's ultra cautious, he'll give him 30 minutes against Fulham, 45 minutes against Everton, and then he'll play him the whole for about 60 to 70 minutes against Real Madrid in the home league, and hopefully have him ready for 90 minutes against Real Madrid in the return.
But the way Mikel Arteta was sounding today, it doesn't give me the what I need to say, the mindset.
Yeah, he gives the impression that he's ready to start.
Yeah, giving you the impression as someone who has been playing. Because they asked Mikel, do you think it's ready for a start? And they were saying that you've been working, you've been doing something for 48 months, and not doing it for 3 months does not make you not know how to do the same thing. Like not cleaning your room for some weeks and something you've been doing for 10 years shows that you know how to do it. Even when you've missed like a week of doing it, when you come back, you can still be that same person. And Bukayo Saka, like Richard rightly said, is someone who we have seen that comes back from injury so quick, more than any other player in the club. Most times you think Bukayo Saka is injured, but the next match you see him starting. And Mikel Arteta trusts Bukayo Saka so much that he's going to start him tomorrow.
Okay. Do you think the game tomorrow is a do or die? Like, do we, is it that important that he needs to take that risk? I mean, I've always been a fan. I want him back, right? But we had that conversation.
Second place is important.
Well, we had that conversation. Do we win the Champions League with or without Saka? Do we risk it? Do we keep him for next season?
Like Max said the other time, you prefer Bukayo Saka to be injured and Arsenal win the Champions League. So I think Mark already answered that question like 2 weeks ago. So, yeah. But for me, I don't think tomorrow game is a do or die affair for Arsenal because at the moment the league is gone, in my opinion. For the likes of Mark, I think he still has the opinion that we can still win the league. And Sema Yuto, I think you still have the opinion we can win the league. But for me, I think the league is gone and it's not something I should be risking him for. But with the kind of person Mikel Arteta is, he's not going to back down until it is over. And I'm expecting him to start tomorrow.
See, the thing is, Saka's going to have confidence in that injury. And that's what we don't know. So what I mean by that is that Michael Owen, he didn't get corrective surgery. But what Michael did when he came back from like the same kind of injury was he tried to push And each time that he pushed, he broke down again, and he lost all confidence to push as hard as what he was doing. So when Saka's coming back from an injury like this, we do not know if he's going to say, do you know what, my body feels good, I'm just going to play football the way that I did. I'm going to play football the way I did. So therefore, he might be like, oh, I'm going to be scared to push in case my hamstring pops again, and I'm out for another 3 months. So you just don't know. It's injuries like these are like, they're not easy to overcome. There's a mental aspect as well as a physical aspect to it. So I think that it is important for Saka to get game time against Fulham. I do. And I also think that it's important he gets game time against Everton. But I think Arsenal should be building his minutes. And I'm not talking go and play 60 minutes or 40 minutes against one team and then build up from there. Saka, for me, is on the bench tomorrow. He comes on for maybe the last 15, 20 minutes, see how it is. Then we do the same against Everton. And the best that we get with Saka for Real Madrid is he is a sub. And maybe if we could build it up, then maybe we could introduce him as a sub earlier against Real Madrid than anything else. But to think that Saka's been out for this period of time, that's not me this time that's making Seema laugh.
No, it's not.
No, I'm behaving. So, thanks, Seema. That was quite nice.
No, not for you.
No, that was directed. That was direct to clean up me. You done it with your left hand and you behave to the left.
Stick to the conversation, please.
Yeah.
Guys, I've got to really put him in his place, right? You're okay with that, aren't you? Yeah. Thank you, Richard. Yeah, see,
So,
Daniel's begrudgingly going, yep.
So for me, I think that Saka needs to build up his confidence in his hamstring. He has to build up his confidence within it. His body needs to adjust. Saka is fresh, by the way. Saka's hamstring is coming back, but Saka as a person, mentally and body-wise, the rest of it's completely fine. He's just been out for over 3 months. So he's not like...
It's the mental aspect.
It's the mental aspect, and also the match fitness. Fitness is
there's also
so that's where But Daniel, you did pick up on a point, and I want to raise it because I think it was a very sceptical, but however brilliant, valid point. I think Arsenal, and like as you said, with Arteta coming up today and saying we've had to pull Saka back because he wanted to go. Daniel pulled up on this. If Saka went at the speed that he was going, he would have been away on that international duty.
Yeah.
And Daniel called this weeks ago. He called this weeks ago regarding this. So I think
pat on the back, Daniel. Pat on the back.
No, I think Daniel's absolutely bang on with that. Saka plays like 15 minutes of football. We've got a guest coming on, I think.
Max. Hey.
There you go.
So for me, I think that I honestly think Daniel was absolutely bang on. Saka had played 15 minutes of football. He was away with England. He was God. He was on that point.
So on that note, do you think that Saka not playing in those 2 games, he's lost his spot, or he's in competition? Because we know he started for every England game. And he's so passionate about it. Does he now get held back because?
Saka
are you talking about the English national team?
Saka walks into that.
Are you talking about the English national team?
I'm talking about the national. I'm not talking about Arsenal. I'm talking about England because that's the theory, right?
Who held
back?
Saka is the best player. Saka is the best player in the England team.
Who takes his spot in the England team?
Thank you very much, Richard. That's what I wanted to ask him.
I don't know. We've got a new boss, got a new manager. He's trying, and it seems to have done the trick. They won the 2 games, be it that it wasn't such a strong team that they were.
A new boss that came in and slag off the 2 wingers he played in the first game.
Yeah, but look what he did. He brought back the players that, what's his name, wasn't picking, and yet they've come on and they did the job.
But the call of the England team still remain. Declan Rice, Harry Kane, Jordan Pickford. These are the core, and Bukayo Saka. These are the core of the English national team. Right now, any manager that comes these are the
There's
four.
not a player. There's not a player for me, Daniel, at all that could even try to wedge Saka out of that side.
No.
Foden's tried it. Palmer's tried it. Couldn't sit back in the seats again.
The only player
There's
that
nobody
might
at all.
displace him is
Yeah,
Bowen.
there's nobody at all that could wedge Saka out of that England side. We want him out the England side. Well, I flipping do, being Scottish. I want him out to that England side. But honestly, it doesn't even come close. Saka's even 50% fit. He's on that point to England and he's in that first team. And that's reality.
And Daniel, let's not forget that Jude Bellingham is a key component of the England team as well. Jude Bellingham, regardless of whether you want to think about that or not. So if you think about the main core players, right? Obviously, personally for me, I think tomorrow should be starting over the centre backs we have, but that's just me being generally because I like tomorrow over both Harry Maguire and John Stones, right? And personally for me, I would be starting Tomori and Mark Gahey over both John Stones and Harry Maguire, considering both of them been defensively poor this season. If you just look at the Premier League in general, right? And then you think about, obviously I would prefer Ben White in the team out, but obviously he's not going to get in at the moment for whatever reason. I have no idea.
He did know. He had the conversation with him, and he actually did say that he was up for considering to be in the team.
Yeah, so
it was just that he's been injured and he's not played enough minutes for him to be considered.
Yep.
This time round.
Because if you think about is it the World Cup 2026, right? That's the squad that we're picking for, right? If you think about the World Cup 2026, right? My back four would be Ben White, Tomori, Mark Gahey, and then Marcelo Skelly as the left back. So, and then Declan Rice in front of them with Drew Bellingham, Cole Palmer, Saka, and then probably someone like either Gordon on the left wing, right, and then Harry Kane up front. So,
yeah, you see, I think he'll go with a back five, and I think Ben White gets in there because he can play that right-sided centre back, and he can play the wing back.
So I mean, I know we're bringing Ben White into this, but I'm also now looking at.
Or even play Trent.
No, but no. That's not what I'm worried about. I'm worried about our Arsenal players being in that squad and then getting injured. That's what I'm worried about. I'm not worried about anything else. It's just I'd rather just keep ours out of the England squad.
The conversation is a two-way thing because at the end of the day, you want your players to be representing the country. As an England fans, you want the best players of England representing England. So from your own selfish part as an Arsenal fan, you don't want your players to get injured while playing for the national, which is understandable. But what shows that you're a good or a great player? The fact that you can hold your spot for your national team and you can hold your spot for your club side. So we want our players to be playing at a major tournament. And what's the biggest major tournament in the world? The World Cup. So definitely if we had Miles Lewis Kelly and Ben White as right and left back for England national team, Declan Rice and Bukayo Saka, all four Arsenal players starting for the England national team at the World Cup semi-final. We'll be proud about that as an Arsenal fan. Although as a Nigerian, I would not want England to progress. I would not want England to go far. I would prefer my country to that's just it. So as an
hey, Daniel, can I ask you a question? Yeah, Daniel, can I ask you a question, right? Because obviously we've been linked to the players like obviously Osimhen for as well. What's your personal opinion on him as a Nigerian? Would he be a perfect fit and be strong enough to handle the Premier League, or what's your personal opinion?
My personal opinion on Osimhen is that Osimhen is a good player, is a good striker, very good striker. But Osimhen missed more chances than he scored more chances. And I know the kind of Arsenal fans we have. We can destroy our player confidence with one bad game. And Osimhen is a kind of player who thrive in fans' compliment and thrive in fans' reject also. And if Osimhen goes in 5 games spell without scoring for Arsenal, I know Arsenal fans. I know how toxic we can be when it regards to slagging off players who are not doing well. Not forgetting the fact that if Osimhen comes to Arsenal, is going to come in with huge sum of transfer fee. So the transfer fee on its own is going to weigh more on him. The likes of Nicolas Pepe suffered it for Arsenal. He was doing it for his club in league, came to Arsenal with a huge transfer fee, and see what happened to him.
Yeah.
So Osimhen for me misses more chances in a game, and the Premier League is not a league whereby you get 5, 6, 7 chances for a striker in every match. The kind of striker Arsenal need right now is the kind of striker that if we get 3 chances, you score 2. But Osimhen is the kind of striker, if we get 4 chances, he's going to score 1. And that's not what we want right now. But for some clubs, he can do good. He can do great. The part of Osimhen game that really is something I like and I want to see in our attack is like Osimhen is the chaos, causes chaos in the box 18. And players like Bukayo Saka, Martin Odegaard, Martinelli will thrive playing with Osimhen, but Osimhen itself, I don't think he's going to thrive in such situation, because at the end of the day, when you keep on missing chances, look at Giroud, for instance. Giroud is that kind of striker. When he plays 5 matches, can go 5 matches without scoring a goal. But the players around him, the likes of Theo Walcott, the likes of Arnold Ramsey, they all keep scoring. But Osimhen is the kind of person that he thrives on fans' praise and fans' criticism also. So for me, I wouldn't want Osimhen close to Arsenal. That's just my personal preference.
Daniel, sorry,
is that the room? Is that the rumor that's out today?
No. I don't think it's a rumor.
I was mentioning it because we've been linked with it before, and I just wanted to know what his personal opinion as a Nigerian, because obviously there's a lot of Nigerians that obviously rate him, and there's a lot of Nigerians that don't rate him. So I was just wanting his personal opinion, because obviously we've been linked with obviously Victor Gyökeres as well, like obviously today recently, and I'm just wondering if that would be a better fit. That's all. I was just wondering. That's all.
See, for me, Max, I think the difference is I think Arsenal need a plan A and a plan B, and at the moment when we come up against low blocks, there is only a plan A, and we struggle. So we need. So Daniel, I slightly disagree with you. I think an Osimhen coming off the bench, if that's what it would be, if he would come to Arsenal and come off the bench.
Sorry to cut you, Mark. You can't spend 80, 90 million striker.
It wouldn't cost you that. Daniel, his valuation is going down by the day.
No, I know, but you can release such huge outlet of funds for a striker that's going to come up from the bench. Not forgetting, we also
need that anyway.
Don't forget, we also have Gabriel Jesus, who is currently injured. Arsenal is not going to spend Gabriel Jesus.
Right. So what you're saying then, on the current setup, if Arsenal go out and we sign Gyökeres or Sesko, it's going to cost us 80 to 90 million.
Or even Isaac, that's going to cost you 120.
So what does that then do to Havertz? If you don't play Havertz behind the striker, that puts a £65 million player on the bench. So that kind of backtracks what you're saying, mate.
What I'm trying to say is that Gabriel Jesus is a bit similar to
Jesus is gone, mate. But may as well forget about Jesus. He's gone.
But it's also on the Arsenal books. And definitely, we're not going to sell Gabriel Jesus this summer. There's no way, because
in January he'll be gone. We'll sell him in January. If we get 20 million for him, Arsenal will take that, and he'll be on his way.
Probably, but at the moment, it's still an Arsenal player. And
but if you're using that definition, then Daniel, what you're saying is we won't sign a striker in the summer because we already have two.
No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that what I'm trying to say is that we have a similar striker like Victor Osimhen in the Arsenal team, which is Gabriel Jesus. So if you're telling me that Arsenal is going to sign £80 million Victor Osimhen to come off of the bench, that was the argument. I wouldn't want that. I would prefer somebody like Alexander Isak. Is different from the ones we have. It's different from Gabriel Jesus. Victor Gyökeres is different from Gabriel Jesus, different from Kai Havertz. But you signing Osimhen is same thing you have as Gabriel Jesus, just a little bit of the height difference. That's what I'm trying to say. And there's no way Arsenal is going to sell Gabriel Jesus this summer. There's no way. There's no way we're going to sell Kai Havertz this summer. It's not going to be possible because these guys are injured. What do? They sign somebody that is not as having the same specific style of play like the ones they already have in the book, which is Gabriel Jesus and.
But it's not. I don't think Gabriel Jesus and Victor Osimhen is the same for me. For me, as we spoke about just before you came on, Daniel, we were speaking about Chloe Kelly smashing balls, crosses in, which were like unbelievable against Real Madrid.
Yeah.
I didn't watch Pal's game, but it's a different style of play to the way Arsenal play. And for me, I would like that to be our plan B. So our plan B is a powerful striker, a big striker to be up there, getting on the end of it to get past blocks. Or then that for me works, mate. And it's like I don't want a striker to come in and be already similar to what we already have. And Jesus, and we put crosses in the box, Jesus is never ever going to get on the end of them.
True. But how many times have you seen Arsenal put crosses in the box?
But this is what we need to do, Daniel. This is the point I'm making.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing.
Yeah, but Mark, but the thing with Havertz and Jesus, right? The thing that I have an issue with Havertz and Jesus, right? Havertz is your plan B if you need to get balls into the box because he's got his height and he's got his strength, right? Yeah. And what both Jesus and Havertz have in abundance, right, is that they're very good with their back to goal and the ball to their feet, right? Because they can hold a player off, right? And what Jesus has over Havertz is that Jesus has more technical ability than Havertz, whereas Havertz has height and strength, right? And he can cause mayhem in the box. But our problem has never been, right, towards in the middle of the field or getting to the final third. That's never been our problem, right? It's been the end product that's been the issue, right? And what Odegaard does so well is he gets you to the final third. Declan Rice gets you to the final third, right? What Zubimendi will come in to do will get you to the final third, right? What we need is the final third player to get you past the final third into the goal, right? And that's why Gorka is, I think, in my personal opinion, is a better fit for Arsenal because not only can he play with the ball to his feet, right? He's a lethal finisher. He can play. He's quick, right? He's strong, right? I know he didn't exactly perform in the Sporting game with that, but he gave Saliba trouble, right? Isak gave Saliba trouble because he's got severe pace and he's technically gifted, right? And that's been our Achilles heel, right? And now if you also go to our left side, right, Martinelli, for all his faults, right, he's good. Being a touchline winger, right? But he's not good being an inside forward, like because he doesn't know how to get into space and get in towards the middle of the pitch to create space for the players. Because what happens is every time I watch Arsenal games in particular, right, is that once we get to the final third, we do sideways passes all the way around the box, right? And what Martinelli used to be good when he was in his form, right, was basically having an overlapping fullback and cutting across and having either Tierney or whoever or Zinchenko overlapping, like basically what Ben White does on the right hand side, and basically giving him a second outlet to basically go and maneuver around the box and cause mayhem. Because we don't have that overlapping fullback, he's basically having to do essentially his job and the fullback's job, right? And he's being stranded out there and he's, looks like a bit lost, right? And that's why, like, when I look at players that can potentially do it, like Kirk is at Bournemouth, prime example, Kirk is at Bournemouth, overlapping fullback that can both overlap and basically invert in midfield, which is why, like, I like him so much in particular, right? And basically, essentially, will do what Timber does on the right-hand side, but also do what Ben White does over on the other side to overlap, right? Ben White's an overlapping fullback. Timber's more of an inverting midfield that basically gives Saka space to basically overlap or essentially cross it into the box, whereas Ben White gives Saka the option to invert and overlap at the same time. So he gives you both that option. Right, and that's where we need to be not too much on the right hand side and move towards our left side, because if you've noticed, all of our play, right, the good majority of our play is down the right-hand side, and we need to have the same on the other side, because Trossard is technically gifted, right, but he's not an overlapping fullback. He's the inside forward.
You're going through every single player in the Arsenal lineup at this moment in time. See, if you have a look, and it's only fair that Richard comes through on this. Me and Richard spoke about this today on the phone, right? It's only fair that Richard comes through on this. Arsenal Football Club do not win the Premier League and have fell short the last couple of years. It is not because of your Manchester Cities. It's not because of your Liverpools. It's not because your Man Uniteds, your Chelseas, etc. It's because of your teams of Fulhams, Palace, West Hams. It's these low blocks that we're playing against. So if you think it's okay, let's just get a better striker, a better player that could come in like Gyökeres that could give Saliba a problem. Arsenal do not play low block, bro. We played low block. The Gyökeres done that. That's the question.
But Mark, I'm not saying for us to play low block. I'm saying we need to be not one-dimensional.
Teams will stop playing low blocks against us.
Max, sorry, I'm going to cut you short again. What Max is trying to say, we need someone who knows where the back of the net is, and Gyökeres has proven to be someone who knows where the back of the net is. Some games,
you're playing tippy-tappy football. It doesn't matter what striker you have against a low block. And this is, I want to hear from Richard on this. Richard pointed this out.
I'm here. I'm listening.
So can I?
Richard,
nice and quiet.
Richard pointed this out to me today. Right. We are losing games.
We had a conversation earlier.
Richard, give your take, because you're barely speaking, bro. Come through and give your take on this, because I actually think it's valid, guys. Just please listen to him.
We don't have a problem against your teams that will come out and attack us. Our problem is the low block, and and we need a striker that is going to offer us something different to what we've got against the low block, whether that's taking a shot from outside the box, or being good in the air, or stretching the space behind. But Max is right in the sense that a lot of our attacking prowess is down the right-hand side, and our left-hand side does need to be sorted to help that, because if your teams can defend against us, knowing that 90% of our attacks are coming outside, but you also have to have a different profile striker to Havertz or Jesus, and you're going to need something, whether that's Gyökeres or Sesko or Isak. Now I have literally started today, this evening when I got home, and I'm going to do 100 hours watching games of the eight forwards. We've been 8 of the forwards we've been linked to in the past year, and I'm going to break down there and compare all their stats, like passes, in aerial duels and stuff like that, and then I'm also going to look at how they perform against those lower mid blocks as well, because I'm not worried about if we play Real Madrid, but I am worried if we play an Atletico Madrid that will sit back and defend maybe.
Okay. Are you going to put that into sort of like a, I don't know, spreadsheet? Like
a transfer show, yeah.
Oh, okay, brilliant.
Yeah, I'm going to do that as a transfer show with somebody.
Oh, that would be great, because we had really good fun at the last one we did. So that'd be really nice.
I thought, because the transfer starts on the 1st of June to the 10th of June, then has a 6-day break before it reopens on the 16th of June to the 1st of September. I thought maybe a weekly show where we look at all our targets.
Yeah.
Not only the strikers, but the midfielders and the wingers and any goalkeepers, etc., and do not only just talk about who we're linked to, who we've got in, but also do a delve into what we can expect from them when they come to the club.
Okay, well, thank you very much for that. That was brilliant.
Seema, just real quick, Seema,
Go on.
What I was also going to say, right, is that the other thing too is that Arteta needs to make a decision about our midfield, right? Does he tend to play Declan Rice in the number 8? Does he tend to play Declan Rice for his time in the number 6? Right? Is Declan Rice going to be changing between Zubimendi and Declan Rice? Are they going to be changing? Right? Is he going to play 2 6s essentially and go back to the 4-2-3-1? Right? Like what's the decision there? Right? Because like for me, right, this is where I have the other issue. Right? Is that we have no, like, apart from corners, right? We don't have any free kick takers. Odegaard's the only one who could do it. Jorginho's the only one who can do it. Declan Rice, perhaps, possibly, right? Because if you watch the Bruno goal, right? The Bruno goal against United, right? That was basically us making a mistake and giving the ball away, and then basically Bruno just nicked in the top corner. And the last time we did that was against Burnley, so many years ago when Odegaard took that free kick, if you remember, right? And that was the last time it happened, right? That's the first thing, right? The second thing, the final thing, right, is that if Arteta decided to go with 6 and 2 8s, right? If that's a decision going forward, right? For me, right, Odegaard, I think for me needs to be a number 8, right? And then we need to bring in a creative number 10, whether that be a Florian Wirtz, whether that be an Arda Güler, whether that be a Cunha or something like that, to give us that extra XG to go in to break down low block teams, which is, again,
he's already
right? It's been our main Achilles problem, right? And if you have someone like Roberts at the other end that can create space and know where the goal is, right? Someone like those two particular players that I've just mentioned, right, can not only get us past the final third, but be a Kevin De Bruyne that will be unpredictable. That 2 players have to go at mark, and then in order for that to happen, they'll leave space somewhere else because they'll be unpredictable. That's what the other thing.
Number 10, we've got the perfect number 10 at Arsenal currently.
Who?
Kai Havertz. Straight behind the striker, Kai Havertz. I swear to God that he will cause absolute havoc. It's the best position. See, the best partnership I've ever seen up front, ever, and I've said this previous, Mark Hateley, Ali McCoist. Mark Hateley played directly behind Ali McCoist. Didn't have the technical ability of Kai Havertz, but both of them were menaces. But the only difference was Mark Hateley had some ball striking, a lot better than Kai Havertz. I'm telling you, you put a proper number 9 in front of Kai Havertz and get him just knocking. See, for me, Kai Havertz is not a 9 and he's not an 8. He's neither. You put him directly behind the striker, he can still cause the havoc that he's causing and also link up with that striker, and you will see. For me, personally, I think a better way to break down low blocks. But going back to the low blocks, part of it, what Arsenal need to do is what Liverpool do. And what Liverpool do is keep their wingers up. Don't backtrack. Don't come back. Yeah. We've got the best defence in Europe. We'll handle this. We've got, if we're playing 2 6s, like you said, we'll defend it. You stay up there and let them try to commit when they come forward. And if they don't, and we get the ball, we'll move the ball in transition up the park to our wingers, and our wingers are going to do something. And that, I think, it's not about the overlapping for Martinelli and that. The imbalance between the right and the left, we've all seen it over the years. You keep these players, our wingers, Saka, Martinelli, whoever it's going to be, if it's Nico Williams, on the halfway line, do not come back. You'll get past these low blocks.
Well, yeah, I guess the other thing too is if you're gonna, the other thing, what you could also do is if you plan on playing Declan Rice or Zubimendi in the number 6, what you could do is you can get a number 8 that's a bit more like someone like on the profile of Valverde or something like that, right? That will do the ground Gabriel. They'll get you when we will we're scoring lots of goals that will get you and basically push forward and be that sort of extra space created to like go and create space somewhere else, and then leave Odegaard to go and get you into the final third to go and do his thing. Because when we're so good, right, is when Granit Xhaka was here, right, and basically creating that space. So basically, Odegaard was getting more space to go and do those through passes and everything else.
All right, guys, let me just cut it here because that's sort of, we can have that conversation great when we have the transfer show. So, if you can hold off Max for about 6 weeks and then we can start it then, it'd be brilliant because right now our new sporting director doesn't know how much he's got in his back pocket, right, to dish out. So once we know that, it'd be brilliant.
If rumors are to believe, we have 300 million. If rumors are to be believed, right? And if we get further in the Champions, if we get further into the Champions League, right, and sell our target, we'll have more than 300 million.
Okay, what were you going to say, Daniel?
I think 200 million is not enough for the rebuild we are going to do because we're losing Jorginho, we're losing Thomas Partey, we're losing Zinchenko, we're losing Kylian Tierney, probably we're losing Kivio, we're losing
Sterling and Neto going back to whatever club they're going to.
Yeah. Sterling, Neto. On top of that, you've got Tavares, Nelson, Vieira,
Marquinhos.
There's about 12 or 13 players away with Arsenal this summer.
So I think 200 million is not enough.
Okay, I'm going to move on because we've got a game tomorrow night.
As well.
Yeah, we've got a game tomorrow night, and Fulham obviously are on the downer because they got knocked out of the FA Cup. So how do you think we are? Because we've had this conversation in the previous show. So we're back here a day before the game. What are your guys' thoughts? Let's just start with Richard. What are your thoughts for tomorrow? Do you think we have the advantage now, the fact that Fulham, have been knocked out, they're on the downer, their confidence is going to be low?
Yeah. I think the advantage is that they've played and the recovery time is against them, but that's balanced out by the fact that they've actually had a match in their legs when we necessarily haven't had a Premier League style game in our legs. But I fancy us. I mean, we're pretty good against Fulham. Our history against Fulham is very good. There's only 2 recent ones at home that have been, which was the 2-2 draw and the 2-1 loss, I believe. That sort of not been ours recently. You've got to respect them, but I think it's a home win.
Okay. So what was your score that you predicted in the last one?
2-1.
Do you still stick to that one?
Yeah, that's what the league home and away league tables say. So that's what I'm sticking with.
You're sticking to. Okay, Daniel, what about you? Because you were very optimistic, and I think you kind of sort of on the spur of the moment went, was it 3-0 or 4-0 or something?
No, 3-2.
3-2. Okay.
But I changed it to 1-0.
Wait, I did say Fulham were on a downer.
Yeah.
I changed it that same day to 1-0. Okay, or the likes of Bukayo Saka coming back. Ooh la la.
So what are you saying then?
2-0 to the Arsenal.
Okay, 2-0. Max, what's your take? Because you weren't on the last show, but we did talk about it. We kind of had a prediction, but fire away for now because Fulham lost and they're on a,
Yeah. So for me, I've always said this. So I predicted 3-1, right? And that was purely down to Saka coming back, right? And I want Saka. The other thing I will say is I want Saka to try and get 30 minutes. Try.
Yeah.
Try and get 30 minutes and then try and get at least 45 minutes against Everton.
Okay.
Before the Real Madrid game.
For sure. Yeah, is kind of the conversation we'd had before. And that we'd all be happy for him to get some minutes in. and Arteta says he's ready, raring to go. So do you change your prediction now?
No, I'm sticking with 3-1.
I'm sticking. Okay, Mark.
I said 2-1 before the news with Saka was going to come back, and I'm giving an extra goal and Saka to score a goal when he come back.
Yeah.
Wait, can I say something? If Arsenal win 2-0, do I get like a proper standing ovation for that?
Go, Mark.
I'm just going to say, Daniel's interrupted me every single time I spoke, and I was just still waiting to do it there, and he interrupted me again. It must be his agenda tonight. But I'm actually going to go for a 2-2. I think Fulham will bounce back.
Get this man off the spot, please.
I think Fulham will bounce back from the disappointment, and ESR and Awobi will come back to haunt us as they always do. So yeah, I just I've got a bad feeling about this game. Total bad feeling, but I think our eyes are concentrating on Madrid. And that's where our success will come against Madrid. But I think our eyes are headed in that direction rather than Fulham, unfortunately. So,
okay, bringing it back a little bit. What do you think? How's the reception? Go on.
Do you know what we're going to do next season? We're going to do a poll whereby each and every week our prediction, and whoever comes last. Because I know with the kind of prediction Mark is doing constantly, I think Mark needs to be relegated from this podcast.
Daniel, I'll do you one better. We need to do a prediction table, and each of us need to have that put down, and then see where we are at the end of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, like
we'll do that. Start next season. We'll do that.
Our own little league.
We'll do that.
I think that's a good idea. I think next season is probably better, but because we haven't done it this season. But
and also with Lance and Des and all that kind of stuff, put their names down, and then you can always get their predictions if they're not on. And in that way, they
can just put it in our chat, and then we can add it on. So that'd be quite good.
I think we should do that for next season, and because I want to embarrass Daniel when he gets relegated.
Nah, you're not gonna see my brake lights. You're not gonna see my brake lights.
Oh, okay. What I wanted to ask was, how do you think the reception is going to be with ESR?
Love.
I think it should be. I think it should be great. He was a great. He was a good servant, and if not for injuries, he still would be here.
Yeah.
Standard ovation. If I was at the stadium, you'd be getting the biggest respect ever.
Yeah. Okay.
So, Seema, if you boo him tomorrow night, I'm going to be coming for you on the next podcast.
If I'm there,
are you talking to me or are you talking to Daniel?
No, I'm talking to you, Seema. You'll be at the game. You be boo ESR. I'm coming for you.
Why should it be booed?
Okay, can you explain to me how the hell you're going to know that I'm booing him?
Because I've got spies in the stadium, Seema.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure you
have. I've got spies in the stadium. By the way, Seema, just before we move on, can I just address one comment in the chat, please?
Okay. Yeah, who is this?
Paul, thank you for this. I appreciate it greatly.
Oh, it's you! It's you! Oh my God, Mark, it's you!
Yeah. So, Paul, I do want to address this. I was taking a small break away from doing the podcast. However, when Seema flashes the AI lights and say, "Mark, are you coming on the podcast with me tonight?" Of course, I'm going to jump on, bro. You know.
I did not say that. I did not say that. I said, bring your son Jack on. I don't want to see you.
Yeah, listen, my DMs here.
Quick, delete.
Can I say something, Mark?
Yeah, go for it, bro.
Are you and Sema going for the Arsenal dating?
Bro, we would be ideal. This would be absolutely perfect. Do you know what? I've got Jack here tonight, right? And I said, and introduced, and I was speaking about Seema, and Jack said to me, honestly, no lie.
Don't say it.
I'm saying it. Jack actually said to me, Dad, have you kissed her? Seriously, it was like, no, we're just friends, mate. We're just friends. Seema's got the hots for me, but it's apart from that.
Come on, Mark. Come on.
Me and Seema would be ideal on that. See that first date, I swear to God. If me and Seema went on that first date with Arsenal, that blind date with Arsenal, it wouldn't be blind because we've seen each other. But
Yeah.
we went on that together. Went for a meal to an Arsenal game. Look, she's getting off flustered and cooling herself down. I swear to God, we'd be leaving toothbrushes in each other's apartments instantly after the game. Instantly.
Oh my God. Thank God he's in Scotland. He's nowhere near London. I swear. Can we get on with the show if you don't mind?
Yeah, sure, we can.
Yeah, we're not doing the dating show here.
Exactly. It's not allowed. It's done. So yeah, so we're all pretty confident. I think I said, what did I say? 2-1?
2-1.
You did, yeah.
2-1. You said 2-1.
Yeah, so I'm sticking with 2-1, and I think I still think they're going to be on a downer. But then again, like you said, I think our ex-Arsenal players, they're going to have something to prove. Look, we're doing better. Look, we're scoring. Look, whatever. But I think we're still.
Imagine we can scoring tomorrow at the Emirates against Arsenal. What? Mike, you're saying something that Sema shouldn't boo ESR. So I wanted to ask the question: why wouldn't ESR be booed for the 90 minutes he's going to play there?
Yeah, why not? Why not? Tell me why not.
Well, why not boo him? Because the ESR's been an absolute. Do you know what? See, when this club was in the trenches and it was absolutely down and out, and we had Mustafis and like all these criminals that were taking wages out of Arsenal Football Club that should never have been there. Our shining light was ESR and Saka, and for me personally, there is a soft spot for ESR, and I love the fact that he's getting game time at this moment in time and progressing his career. But if it wasn't for like injuries and like the groin strain that left him out for 18 months or close to that, ESR would have been on par with Saka in my eyes.
So in other words, you're trying to tell me that tomorrow if he scores against Arsenal, you're going to stand and clap him.
No, I'm not going to clap him. Of course I'm not. I'm giving him a standing. I'm going to give him a standing of
for 90 minutes, ESR is an enemy of Arsenal.
Yes, in 90 minutes.
So for that 90 minutes, is if he's cursed, if he's booed, if he's shouted at negatively,
Daniel, you're taking that to the extremes. For the 90 minutes, I'm not going to cheer when ESR touches the ball.
I'm going to. If I was there,
to clap. Don't do that.
I'm not going to. If I was there, I'm not going to clap him. Reason being, you want what I want, and that's a 3-point. For this 90 minutes, we are sworn enemies. After the 90 minutes, we can do all the
Daniel, if you're standing in the stands or sitting in the stands, you're not up against ESR. For the 11 Arsenal players will to have to do the job and make sure that they get the 3 points. Not the people standing in the stands.
As a fan, you do what you can do to
yes. Daniel, you just want to argue. You're not even letting me speak tonight. Daniel, see before, when ESR's name, if ESR starts this game, his name gets called out, he gets cheered. Because ESR comes onto the pitch, if he's a sub and he comes onto the pitch, he gets a standing ovation. When he's on that pitch, it's game on.
That's what I'm saying. You are saying that Sema shouldn't boo ESR if he plays.
I was joking with Sema.
Hypothetically, you're trying to make it out that an Arsenal fan shouldn't boo ESR while playing for Fulham.
Why should we boo ESR? What has ESR done? He could not get into the Arsenal side. If he could get into the Arsenal side,
he's no longer an Arsenal player.
He plays for Fulham, and Fulham are trying to take 3 points off Arsenal. So if I'm going to boo ESR, Alex Iwobi, any player, William playing for Fulham, Bedleno playing for Fulham tomorrow, if I'm an Arsenal fan, I'll do that to ensure that they feel unsettled, feel scared, and lose all 3 points to the Arsenal. After 90 minutes, I'm going to clap them and love them and sing whatever praise I want to them.
Yeah, but listen, I get that. But listen, I'm not. Listen, you're going to boo Iwobi tomorrow?
Yes.
God, Daniel, get crap. Like, seriously, get crap.
Well, let's just say he doesn't get a cheer from us. That's for sure.
Yeah, I think it's a hard one because there are certain ex-players that you would probably boo, but ESR, he didn't leave us because he would have rather stayed, but he wanted that game time. We can offer it, so he's left, and I think you treat him respectfully. You clap him at the game, and during the game you're indifferent.
100%.
Exactly what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say, for the 90 minutes, ESR, Alex Iwobi, Bent Lennon, Willian, whatever they are called, Fulham, they are enemies of the Arsenal. After 90 minutes, you can do whatever cuddling, you can do whatever kissing, you can do whatever.
Well, I mean, what normally happens, Daniel, is that when they come onto the pitch, he'll get a cheer when they read out the team sheet, and then once they are, it's kick-off, that's done. And then once the final whistle goes, they're shaking hands, they're hanging out with each other, they're hugging each other.
That's what I understand.
Yeah.
But he wants to applaud ESR for scoring against Arsenal tomorrow. Or William.
No, did I say that, Daniel? You're taking it to the extreme. It's his first visit back to the Emirates. It's his first visit back. He's going to get clapped.
Now you're trying to say we should put a red carpet down for ESR because it's his first.
Yeah, but you give him 4 penalties, Daniel. What do you want me to say? You know exactly what I'm saying to you. You know exactly what I'm saying to you. ESR is not
getting the bobbing up.
It's not at all. Do you know what? There's a private chat in here, and Daniel's just trying. He's on one tonight against me, but it's not working.
Because you're back on. That's why.
That's not true.
And Paul's agenda was wind him up. He told Daniel.
It's not working.
Was that?
Okay,
was that the last subject? Wind Mark up.
Okay, I'm going to open the floor. If you guys, I'm going to give you like 2 minutes each to have any say you want on any topic. Okay, so let's start with Max. Max, you got 2 minutes.
Okay, so I'm going to quickly touch upon something that that I've always spoke to in the group chat about, right? And everybody knows what's already, right? And it's the media agenda at Arsenal right now. And this is something I wanted to vent profusely about because it's now getting to the point where it's getting overbearing. It's getting like lazy journalism, and it's getting to the point where I'm really at the point now where it's like it's getting really old really quickly, and it's just it stinks, right? So obviously, as you know, I obviously put a video up in the group chat with about what the media was saying about if Arteta doesn't get it right, do you give him a year? Do you sack him? Do you replace him? All that kind of stuff, right? And I'm at the point now where I need to go and express this because it stinks, and it stinks really badly, and I'm just over the whole agenda. I'm over our own fan base going off at our own players and not signing and not backing the team for 90 minutes. I'm over the fact of this our own fan base going off at the manager because he's making every single decision rightly or wrongly and having a go at him, right? And I'm also over the fact that rivals and pundits and journalists are just constantly just beating the Arsenal stick over and over and over again, right? And I find it a little bit hypocritical that Man City, for all their greatness, right, are not getting criticized hard enough because of their massive drop off. I'm surprised that Chelsea spent over $1 billion, right, £1 billion, and they're not getting criticized for being where they are, right? I'm not surprised that that Man United and Spurs being in the lowest performers over all four of those managers in the qualified positions over Arteta and have higher standing are not getting criticised hard enough for their poor lack of performances, right? And I'm also over the fact that everybody in particular, right, even our own fan base is not giving us a chance against Real Madrid in the final, right? And they're just writing us off directly, right? And I'm at the point now where I'm just like, can you just either like stay silent or just, you know, or change your tunes, or and I know for a fact that they're not going to.
2 minutes is up. 2 minutes is up. Daniel. 2 minutes. Have your say.
I think I can take more than 2 minutes.
No, 2 minutes. That's all you're getting. 2 minutes.
Time start now or
now? Go on.
Okay. What I want to say.
Seconds in.
Come on. I thought you said you were mute.
Come on. Daniel, you're wasting time.
Yeah. What I wanted to say is the news regarding Arsenal being interested in signing Gyökeres. I think that's a media stunt by Arsenal to try to paint a narrative that we are going in the direction we want to go. And we keep getting those same repeated cycle. Arsenal interested, Arsenal want, Arsenal send a scout. Whereas when it comes to other clubs, they are interested, they bid, they sign. The jersey is put on the club shop. But when it comes to Arsenal, it takes ages. I don't understand why. Why is that? I don't know. Am I the only one who gets frustrated with the way Arsenal do their transfer? Does this transfer, because it's not really adding up for me. A club like Arsenal shouldn't be the kind of club that goes to the market and price whatever they want. Price. Try to go to another shop, price. Go to the next shop, price. And Nike. Go to another shop, price. Adidas. Go to this shop, price. Puma. At the end of the day, you end up buying Umbro. Okay, I don't get why it's like that. And I feel this Gyökeres news is just coming up because we just signed the new sporting director, and probably they're trying to pacify the fans. They're trying to make us feel that, yes, we are serious. But I'm not going to get my hope up. I'm not going to feel excited until I see players like Isak, players like Gyökeres, players like Zubimendi sign for the Arsenal. But this season, I don't think I'm going to get too attached to transfer targets. And the earlier a lot of Arsenal fans don't get too attracted or too up for the transfer targets being read in the media, the better for us, because at the end of the day, they keep disappointing and they'll keep disappointing us in the transfer. 2 minutes is it?
Perfect. Thank you so much, Richard.
I'm really excited by the Berta appointment. I saw Dan Potts' show earlier on today, and I checked fact what he said. Berta was a banker. He's a financial, but his own hometown team. He actually organised all the night matches for the league they were in.
Yeah.
And it was initially the love of the game and the love of his local team, and then he's gone on to the other clubs he's gone on to, and it has been quite a love affair. And it's he's not a yes man. Some of the signings he did for Atletico weren't what Simeone wanted, so this really puts the pressure on to Arteta. I'll give you what you need in terms of positions, but you've got to make it work.
Yeah. Well, you still got time.
And I'm quite interested to see where he goes. Because there are plenty of players we've been linked to, and not really. I mean, you've only probably got two guarantees in this out of the strikers we've been linked to, and that's Isaac because he's been in the Premier League and he's proven it, and Watkins because he's in the Premier League and he's proven it. Everything and everything else is a maybe, and how will they adjust to the league and Arsenal, and how quickly will they adjust? But that's down to Arteta to get that to work as quickly as possible, isn't it?
Yeah, cool. Thank you so much for that, Richard. Right, your turn, Mark. Not that you've had a lot to say in this show, but that's okay.
I've not had anything to say. You guys just interrupted me again.
Frank, you said a lot today. I don't think
you did.
Mark, stop.
I don't think Mark need 2 minutes.
Daniel, Daniel, don't take his spot.
I'm just trying to say, Mark have said so much today. I don't think he needs.
I know. I'm still giving him 2 minutes, though. Go on, Mark. Off you go.
That's so nice.
Right. Okay. Can I speak?
40 seconds gone.
Okay, that's fine. Be quiet for the final minute and 20 seconds. Right, my thing kind of bounces into the last podcast that you guys had that I wasn't on, and also Max's take on the agenda against Arteta. I'm seeing a lot of stuff at the moment that's getting under my skin, and it has been getting under my skin for a while. Newcastle will go out and win a Carabao Cup, the first trophy in 70 years, and all of a sudden Arteta is a bad manager because he's won a trophy more sooner. If Man City don't win the FA Cup this year, there's another 3 teams in there. They've won the same amount of trophies as Arteta, and this agenda comes out and out and out. Well, guys, can I just say, all my energy, see when my hangover and celebrations finish when I win the Champions League this year, I'm hunting every single one of you down. I'm coming for you. And I actually want one day, I beg and pray that you come over to the Emirates, stand outside and speak to the people at the Emirates, the true Arsenal fans, because they don't talk like you. They don't talk like you. They don't have agenda. They support their football club. So I'm begging all you guys, stay online when we win the Champions League. If we won the Carabao Cup, if we won the FA Cup, it wouldn't be good enough for you. It's not good enough for me. I want the Premier League or I want the Champions League. It's not good enough. So I don't care about these cups that we've won. I do not care. I want one of the big ones. But I promise you, and this is every single person online, I will hunt you down the second that we get one of the big ones. I will fucking hunt you down. Sorry for my language, Jack. Bad dad. Penalty points. That's me getting a £20 pocket money for tomorrow for dad being a bad boy. Right, see, I'm finished. That's it. Run.
Whoa, wait. 2 minutes. Oh my God, you did well. 2 minutes and 4 seconds. But
well, Daniel interrupted for the first part, so 2 minutes.
No, I didn't start until you started talking. I think
she didn't start, Mark.
Stephen, what's your 2 minutes?
What's my 2 minutes?
Give us a second. I'll get the timer going.
28. Well, let's go.
So my 2 minutes is that I don't like the media, how they portray us. I don't like the pundits, how they portray us. They don't give us a chance. They slag us. They bring us down when we're doing well. Even if we're not doing well, they still like to trash us. And we're always being compared in negativity, never in positivity. There's so many examples I can give, but where are City's 115 charges gone now? Everybody is so quiet about that. No one wants to bring it up, and everyone's sleeping on it because the FIFA, FA, whoever it was, they lost the tribunal thing against City. Now they have to pay City the charges. Oh, that makes big headlines. Yes. Newcastle make big headlines. Brilliant. Liverpool, they were on the quad. They're now just on for winning the Premier League. No big deal. Hey, they got rid of the quad. They're on the single. But hey, they're still a fantastic team. Yeah, they're brilliant. They're great at what they're doing. But they dropped the quad. They dropped the treble. They dropped the double. So no one's talking about that. Trent going. Mo Salah going to go. Van Dijk going to go. Big players going. Where's Liverpool going to be next season? Again, no one's talking about that. They're all talking about, oh yeah, he's going to get the Saudi deal. Yeah, he'll make a lot of money. There's no negativity for them. Why is it just us? Plain simple Arsenal, just doing our thing, playing our game. We're the set piece kings. No, of course we're not. We're just, another set piece again. Oh yeah, we're doing the dark arts. We're masters at the dark arts. Everyone's learning from us. So all I'm saying is, because we're doing all that, we're obviously doing something right. So, and it's just pissing people off. 2 minutes up. And guess what? It's 9:30. So guys, thank you so much for being in the chat. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you guys for being on here. Mark, Richard, Max, and Daniel, and Jack, of course.
Can I say something before you go?
Go on.
I think you're a great host, Emma.
Oh, thank you.
But do you think Paul's a bad host?
I never said.
Now you're creating trouble there. Guys, thank you so much. And yes, everyone get behind the Arsenal tomorrow. We're going to win this. And Fulham.
Say hi to Daniel.
Hi, Jack.
Hi, Daniel.
Hi.
How are you?
Good.
Hi, Jack.
Daniel.
What's your thoughts on that?
Daniel supports referees. He loves referees. See, every day.
Which one's Daniel?
Yeah, he's hiding. Max is hiding. But Daniel wakes up. See, when you wake up and you think of putting your iPad in Roblox, Daniel does the same for referees.
That's not true. Don't listen to your dad.
Max is in Australia, so if you go upside down, you'll be able to see Max.
Yeah. All right, guys, have a good evening, and we'll see you on the next show. If you guys are on are free and can join the watch along, we're doing a watch along tomorrow with Desi and Forster, or is it Richard?
No, it's Richard.
It's Richard. So Richard will be hosting tomorrow, and then we should have the after show. And hope to see you guys all on then. But thank you very much and have a good evening. Come on, you Gunners.
Big up, Sheila. Big up, guys.